6 minutes, Stucky Fresh, Sharon, on.
Spears and Steinberg. You know what the it is? Aries and Andy, Chew and the Jerk.
You know it's time to get this work.
The real raw, gutter, uncut, cold. No political corrections.
Always sleep.
Being awoke. We discuss politics and jokes.
Subscribe, we lit.
There's levels to this shit. Before you was on your mama.
Aries Spears don't give a fuck.
We talk about race a lot, racism. Much love to my loyal bag holders.
Rollers, loaders.
We got them in the folders.
The whole world on our shoulders.
Spears and Steinberg.
Yeah.
Remember that? You don't know? Oh, you remember that?
No, I know. Yeah.
Dude, I had one of my weird dreams again. I dreamt that me and my baby mother were both butt naked, fooling around on the carpet in front of Michael Jordan, who was fully dressed in a suit.
You sure it wasn't Tiger Woods?
No, it was Michael Jordan.
Oh, okay.
And he was sitting on the couch in a full suit, Armani suit, watching us make out.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did you say anything?
No, but every time I dunked my and I stuck my tongue out. No, but I really did have that dream. It's weird, right?
Yeah, it's a little weird.
But dreams are like that.
Yeah, but what does it mean?
That's one of life's biggest mysteries. What do dreams mean?
Well, they have meanings. Are you looking for Jordan's
Do
approval?
they all have meaning? No.
They're supposed to.
Some of it is just nonsensical that pops in your head. Like that's why again, The Sopranos, the dream sequences, just never made sense.
Yeah, but they always told the reason why the dream was happening. Like it gave them answers. Like when it's the fish talking to him, it's telling him about what's going on.
Yeah, but that's writing for the show. Real dreams, like, you know what I mean? Like, you ever had a dream where you rode a unicorn? What does that mean? It's just some
I never had
shit.
a dream.
But you have weird dreams, don't you?
You know, I don't remember my dreams. A lot of people don't remember their dreams, but I do have certain.
When it comes to you, there's no data. There's just no data.
No, but
because you're getting old.
No. I've never really remembered my dreams, but I do remember when I was real little. I used to have these dreams where something was always chasing me. But you know, in your dreams, you can't run fast. That
run fast in their dreams.
No, you can't. You it feels like you're running on. Like
I'm telling you, Andy, you are a special breed of human being.
And the
because
monster's chasing me
between
quick.
you can't remember shit. And the thing
That's all I remember. That's all I remember.
But the thing it was funny. I read a couple people in the comments when you were talking about I'm just a girl.
Yeah.
A few dudes was like, nah, nigga. Nah, men don't do that.
Yeah, they do. I've seen
that.
men do it. I've seen it.
White guys.
No, I've seen black dudes do it. I've seen Hispanic dudes do it. It's like you're at the club and the thing's happening and you're just like, I've seen it. I've seen it.
Mark, what's
It's Mark. It's Otto.
Otto, what's a weird dream you've had?
Oh, I've had some weird. I can't remember them.
What the is wrong
I
with
feel
y'all?
like you've asked me those before.
Never.
It's hard to remember dreams.
You don't remember how you told me you had the one dream that you were the guy in the movie cruising that was getting fisted in the club in front of Al Pacino?
That wasn't a dream. That was a memory.
But remember I told you I had that one dream where I was eating at a barbecue spot and Larry Bird was outside the window watching me eat? What's the meaning of that?
I don't know, but you have a lot of sports in your dream.
Maybe that is the meaning. Because I told you my first dream was when Scottie Pippen was dressed in his bowl uniform and he tried to beat me up in woodshop class.
Okay, that's a different kind of dream. I was thinking maybe like they're outside looking at the window because they're seeing you as Aries Spears. Like the sports people are watching you instead of you watching them. Like there's some kind of analogy to that.
I can always depend on you to put the good spin on it.
You know what I mean? Like you're famous.
Yeah.
You're famous, but you're not famous to you.
But why did
those
Scottie
people are
Pippen
famous.
want to beat me up?
This is the difference in woodshop class.
In woodshop class.
That's very specific.
Yeah.
Did you ever take a woodshop class?
Yes.
Were you good at woodshop?
No.
Maybe that's why he wanted to beat your ass.
He chased me around the woodshop class. It's crazy.
I wish I could remember my dreams like that.
Dude, I'm telling you. And when at the barbecue spot, Larry Bird was just sitting there in his jersey, blank stare, just looking at me through the window, eat barbecue.
Maybe even though he was one of the greatest basketball players to play,
Right.
he was a white dude. And he's watching you at the barbecue, wondering why he ain't invited to your barbecue.
And it was in Terre Haute, Indiana.
He was wondering why you didn't invite him to the barbecue.
Damn.
That was your dream telling you you don't give that white dude enough respect on his game.
So Larry Bird is watching you through a window eating barbecue.
Yes.
I'm telling you, I deciphered that.
What are you typing?
He's looking at it through AI. He's the dream
Analyzing it.
analyzer, dream analyzer.
And you know what? Since we're on the topic of basketball, guys, we're gonna be discussing the AI documentary on Prime Video, which is a must-watch. But before we get to that, you know, we can't make everybody happy. And
Who didn't we make happy now?
well, I read a bunch of comments where people were like, "Dude, y'all could have saved the Scorsese piece for later. How y'all not gonna talk about the B and Eddie documentary?" And then so by the time you hear this, you will have already seen and heard us talk about the Eddie doc. Well, the Scorsese thing came out first before the Eddie doc. So, you know, we're sorry. But people are like, dude, why y'all, by the time we get to the Eddie doc, it's gonna be late.
We could have dropped Eddie last week and then got rid of the emails and moved it over. I mean, we could have done some other things, but
And then had what, Scorsese and then Eddie?
yeah, Scorsese on Wednesday and then Eddie.
Yeah.
But you know what? This is the way that it happened. It wasn't like we didn't talk
Yeah,
about it.
you.
It wasn't like it wasn't important to us. It just that's the way that it rolled out.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes a baby is born prematurely. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes there's a miscarriage. Things happen.
Dude, we could. This is the way the streaming platforms decided to roll it out, and so we rolled it out the same
Listen,
way.
if you don't know anything about the SNS and now Rainbow podcast, you should know this whole thing is fugazi. It's the Wild West.
It's the SSO.
SSO.
Yeah.
Oh, Spears and Steinberg and Otto. Yeah, we
Do I
got.
look like an Otto anymore?
Not really, but
Not today,
But,
but-
but you're still Otto. You can't get rid of it once you.
Yeah, we know the shoes are always somewhere. Listen, the backdrops change. The circumstances are always different. This is rogue, nigga. It is rogue. There is no professionalism to this at all.
I always like when people go, "How do you do it?" I go, on the road, in the hotel room, with minimal equipment. This is guerrilla
This is
warfare,
what it
man.
is, man. Stop complaining. I saw people in the YouTube comments. God, you guys have to show commercials every 3 minutes. I'm getting annoyed. What the no watch?
You can get it without commercials, you know.
I gotta pay for that though,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah. So, but if you
break bread.
if you want, we do this for free, and if you want to throw some dough at us, we'll take it. But otherwise,
Well, don't
stop
they just
complaining.
have to pay for the YouTube premium or whatever?
I think they can watch it on our we have a Patreon that they can go to and see it off of that without doing it.
This show should be called the Three Putzes. 1 putz, 2 putz, 3 putzes. Ah. Anything you want to talk about before we get to the Allen Iverson?
There was something I saw today. I don't even know if I saved it, but if I did, I'll bring it up. It's just so weird. My son, True, and this kind of trips me out a little bit because people don't understand this, but my son, when he was younger, there's this thing called Slender Man. Have you ever heard of Slender Man?
No.
He's like the boogeyman for the internet times.
The who?
The boogeyman.
Oh.
And let me see if I still have it. If I saved it. If I didn't, then I can't do anything. I'll just tell you the story. But there's these 2 girls that took out, that stabbed this other girl 12 times for Slender Man. They wanted to prove their loyalty to Slender Man because they became, there's a lot of people that actually have, been haunted, possessed by Slender Man, have done crimes, but they wanted to kill their friend. It was these 3 girls, and the one friend was really afraid of Slender Man. So the other 2 girls, they had a sleepover for the birthday party. The girl comes over, they take her out into the woods, and they stabbed her 12 times trying to kill her for Slender Man.
Jesus.
Anyway, they convicted her, and the girl goes, she pleads, she takes a plea, and they put her in a mental institution. I guess she's there for like 7 years, and then the judge said, well, that she was doing better, so she could go to like a halfway house or something like that, some kind of home. She's in the home, and then she just disappears. She's gone. She's out now. So if you hear any weird music or Slender Man kind of stuff coming your way, She's out there. But my son got it affected him so bad. There used to be this thing called creepy pasta, and it was a site where Slender Man was born. I guess where his story was being told, and it affected him so deeply. True actually had to get mental health services for it when he was little. It made him hyper focused, and he was he had to go get some help for it. He was in some services for like 10 days because of Slender Man. So when I read this, it freaks me out because I know what an effect this can have on people. So anyway, I just thought it was an interesting story.
All right.
So Slender Woman, I guess, is out there.
Okay. So there's 3 parts to this Allen Iverson doc. And I just went off the top, man. Iverson is the epitome of the people's champ. Like if I wore my heart on a sleeve was a person, it's AI. This dude is so he's one of those what you see is what you get.
Exactly.
There's no facade, there's no fluff, there's no BS, there's no fake. You know, guys like him, Mike Tyson, Dennis Rodman, what you see is what you get.
But I think when the guys that you just brought up, what did you say, Mike Tyson?
Dennis Rodman.
I don't see Dennis Rodman. I do see it the same way, but Dennis Rodman sometimes became a character of himself because he went flamboyant, blew himself up.
But I don't think any of that was fake in the sense of this is not who this guy. That's who he really is.
Yeah, but it was dictated also by the wealth that he was able to have to do different things. So was Tyson in a way. I don't think that Tyson went bankrupt because he had to buy how many Rolls Royces did he have? How many different? He was still a
that would do
okay.
Like you know what I'm saying? The money didn't change who he was. It just allowed him access to live a better life.
Okay. But hey, I never from the people he grew up with to the streets that he grew up on.
Yeah.
That didn't change for him. You know, I don't want to, I'm only talking from what I know, from what I understand. But I remember when Ice Cube blew up. There's nothing against Ice Cube. This is just the reality of it. He's like, I'm going to live in the neighborhood. I'm living in my neighborhood forever. I'm not leaving this neighborhood. This made me. He left.
They all do.
They do, but Iverson never. He took part of the neighborhood with him as much as he could, and then he would still go back to the neighborhood. He was really that guy. 100% in his soul, in his flesh, in his skin. He didn't live without that.
You know, one of the things too that where you could just see how genuine he was. When he got emotional a lot, cried a lot.
Well,
and I think that where I saw an interview with Shaq where he goes, "I don't cry, I don't ever cry," and he said it was a sign of weakness, and I forget what else he said. And I know there's a lot of guys who buy into that macho where they see crying as a sign of weakness. But Allen is so genuine that he's going to give you that too.
Because his heart's so big. It's the heart. It's
Yeah.
that he's emotionally connected to what he's saying. He's not pretending.
Yeah.
He's emotionally connected in every way to what he's saying. That's why even when he does the wrong thing for the right reasons, you're not mad at him.
Right.
Because you know he did it from his heart. He wasn't trying to be a problem.
Yeah.
This is who he is. Even the thing about, I'm going to jump ahead real quick, but I know we'll get back to it. But the thing that's famous is the practice thing.
We talking about practice.
But if you listen to that whole thing, it's not that soundbite. We're talking about practice. That's the soundbite that they gave you on the news.
Right.
But that whole thing is an emotional story telling you exactly who he is and why you holding him to a different standard than you're holding yourself because of what led to him not making that practice.
Well, yeah. I mean, this documentary provided a big chunk of context. Like his friend Ra.
Yeah.
He buried his best friend.
Yeah.
And he says it in that clip, but it's so about the practice that you didn't understand the backstory of his best friend and what that meant to him.
We did when a few people covered it. And so if you knew him, if you followed him and basketball, you knew what it was. But most people got the clip from ESPN, which was just practice.
Well, that's the thing that they ran with.
And that's what's unfortunate because you don't get the heart from that.
Right.
And sometimes I forgot when years later, there's a reason why you love him,
Yeah.
but you forget what it is because you go back and it's the it's the sound bites is what you left.
Well, I
with.
think Stephen A. covered it best when he said, he changed the culture of basketball. Michael Jordan, obviously, and the way Stephen A. said it, where it was like, look, Michael's the creme de la creme, but if Mike was to look in his rear view, Allen was right there. Now, not necessarily from a winning, obviously, standpoint, but the way he changed the culture, the youth, the look, the tattoos, the cornrows. And I hate when white folks say, that's what white folks say, thug. He made it street. I say street. He brought street to basketball. And we always know that, when white folks use that term thug, what they really mean is that's code for nigga.
It's not always, but yes.
Okay. Yeah, man. I just want to do it. It's just so hard for me to see AI do anything other than basketball. I mean, I was never the. I don't want to say I was never the biggest AI fan, because I was all about MJ. But I have so much respect for him after watching this doc.
Well, one of the things that I liked, and I think that I've always liked about him, and the reason that you would like him if you're me, is that he's I'm not quite 6 foot, so he's tall for me. But for the NBA, he wasn't. And when he was on the court,
call him a little guy.
Yeah, he was approachable. Like, to me, like, if he could do it, you could do it. Not that I could do it, but you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
You saw, like, it was about your heart, about the amount of effort you have. You obviously have to have like some mad, insane skills though too.
Right.
But he made it approachable. He made the game possible. Like, for me.
The term everyman.
Yeah.
He was relatable because not just the size, but again, he dressed like he dressed like the streets. He was the streets. Dudes out there who have cornrows and tattoos and came from nothing. He was them. Yeah. And so they felt like, this, while we all revered and loved MJ was tailor-made suits, expensive suits, and
he was a corporate level guy.
Yeah, he was corporate. He was corporate.
He was going to be a CEO. He always was.
Right.
So that's the difference. That is the difference. But can I ask you a question that I don't know if this is going to sound f***ed up or not, but does he not look a little like Martin Lawrence now?
Yes. Because he's chunky now. But when he was younger.
Now with the face, the glasses.
Listen, I always say, I don't always say, but everybody always goes, there's an evil twin. Somebody has an evil twin. And let's be honest. Is Chris Rock one of the best looking guys in the world? Not really. But his twin is Mario, the singer.
Okay.
Who's a good looking Chris Rock.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Allen Iverson was a good looking Martin Lawrence.
But with the glasses and the hat and everything, face, the shape,
yeah.
I was like, I kept looking at him and going, that's Martin Lawrence.
Right. And it's hard, and again, when these NBA players retire, obviously, they're not working out every day. They're not running up and down a court with an 82-game schedule. So they gain a little weight.
And
it's weird seeing him a little puffy.
But what changed it for me is the picture of him with his family. And when you see someone as a dad,
right,
he's supposed to be a little puffy. You're supposed to be a little bit more relaxed. Do you know what I mean?
That's what he is now because of age.
Right. You're supposed to get a little. I got my little belly. I got my. You're relaxed. You can eat. You can hang out with the kids.
Again, these are all people that we grew up with. So when you see the change, it's just like.
No, because he's a good-looking dude. He's smooth when he's out there.
Yeah.
And when we were talking about this, I want to get back to your notes so that we go in the order. But I got some more stuff on this, though. But go ahead.
Even seeing Jordan with a pot belly now, it's like, damn, man.
He's relaxed.
Yeah, they real relaxed.
No, Barkley really relaxed. Shaq
Barkley
relaxed.
lost weight, though.
Now, because he went and saw his doctor, and he said, you're too relaxed.
Right, right. That there's, of course, this moment where they talk about in the doc, which I saw this before when I saw something about AI. Young guy coming up, no. First of all, let's talk about props to the fact that this was a cold football player.
Yeah.
He could have went pro in either one. And I've just seen Allen so much in basketball. It was hard for me to see him in football, but he was great.
Not only was he great, I think he would have had a better career as a football player.
Really?
Yeah, only because the way that he played, if he would have went to the NFL, and I don't know, I'm
You
trying
don't
to
think he's too small though?
I'm trying to think about the times and the safety. But I think you're almost safer as a quarterback in the NFL than you are as a small guard or shooting guard in the NBA, because he got his ass beat in the NBA. They constantly.
Yeah, he did, but could he have taken them hits?
But you're protected. The rules are protecting you from getting hit that same way. Now, maybe at that same time, maybe the rules weren't as protective. Maybe you're right. Maybe he wouldn't have had that same protection. But he was so fast, and he had so agile.
Yeah.
It's hard to hit those guys.
Yeah.
It's hard. Let me rephrase that. You can hit him, but you don't get a clean hit. You don't get that hit that hurts you.
Would he have been Michael Vick before Michael Vick?
Michael Vick was bigger.
Because when you talk about his agility and his ability at speed, he would have definitely scrambled out of the pocket.
What's the quarterback that I forgot where he's at now? But he was with Seattle for so long.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Fuck. He's married to Sierra.
Yeah, he could throw. He could stay in the pocket, but once he got out of the pocket, you were.
Yeah.
If he had a scramble, he was going for.
Yeah.
I think he would have been better than him, and he was earlier than he is.
Iverson was just so lanky. I just go, if he gets popped.
He was so quick. You got to hit someone with his agility. It's hard to hit him in a way that you can put 100% of that power into it. Now, if he would have had a bad offensive line and people were just hitting him from his blind side all the time, that's a different story.
Right.
But I just I think he had too many skills. The problem he would have had, though, and this is what happened back then. He's on that cusp, but is this stuff still going on? Would they have tried to make him a receiver, or because he also played defensive back instead of a quarterback? Because they always tried to move.
They showed him get.
Yeah.
Wow.
But they always tried to move black dudes from quarterback to one of those a receiver.
Because the racism was always it's a thinking man's position,
game. Right?
And don't think.
So that would have been. That's my question. I don't really. When I was watching this, I was thinking, man, he'd be today's NFL. He would kill it. I don't know at that time period if it was the right time, but I think he would have been an amazing football player.
And you think about this, and it's like, imagine having your whole life ahead of you. You're a top-notch athlete. I forget how they call it, the rankings, but number one state, whatever, in football, basketball, everybody kind of knows this dude's going to go pro in either one. And then this incident happens at the bowling alley, the brawl, and him plus 3 other guys get arrested, convicted. The prison sentence was 15 years.
10 suspended.
10 suspended, so you're going to serve 5. So basically, you're a 17-year-old kid where you feel like, oh, my God, my whole life is about to be...
17 and convicted as an adult.
Then convicted as an adult.
With no priors.
No priors. And everybody, of course, went... If this had been a brawl that included black people versus black people, there's no way that this punishment would be that. But it was because it was a brawl with black people versus white kids, where a bunch of white kids got beat up in Virginia. This was a witch hunt.
Well, it was even a worse setup than that, because when they talk about the lineup, which I never knew about the lineup. I don't know if that was ever... I don't know if that was public knowledge the way it was, because when he's talking about it, he's like, they showed him, I'm going to put your picture in with these 5 other guys, and we'll see, hope if they pick you out, you're basically, you're
right.
And they're all, like, he's 17, and it doesn't make a difference. When you're 17, you look like a kid still. I don't care.
But also, you're Allen Iverson.
And everybody knows you.
Nobody knows you.
And so here he is with these 5 other guys that all have beards and older, and they picked him out. Of course, it was so tainted.
The point that I was going to make was, so this is the trauma that has been, and this is this to be a young black male in America. This is the fear that we live with. And Tom Brokaw. There's a moment where Tom Brokaw goes down to the jail and interviews him, and they kind of said in this thing, had it not been, and then there were a couple other outside people that helped to get this done, but Tom Brokaw, being Tom Brokaw at that time, who was one of the top journalists in television, because of that interview, it brought so much light and attention to Alan's story that's part of the reason why he eventually was let go. And this is why sometimes I really have a love-hate relationship with white people. Because why do we always need a savior to come and save us? But at the same time, thank God we got the savior.
Because you need the savior because the devil put you there.
Who happens to be Hunky.
I'm being honest, because no, this is what I saw, and this is really what gets me. And I've said that this is the problem. This is the curse. It's I shouldn't say it's a curse, because actually white people get away with this very easily, but it's cursed. It's a curse to our soul as a white person. The curse is we don't define ourselves by another white guy. The black community gets defined by every black guy. Or every black person, because the white community goes, black people shit, this black. It's defined. That's how it works. You don't get to be an individual. White people always say that they're individuals. So because the white judge is, I don't want to say that this white judge is racist, but isn't the white judge racist?
Absolutely.
And and by the definition of what racism is, he's a racist.
Right.
So, but we don't have to take responsibility for the racist white judge because we're not that guy. So Tom Brokaw comes along and he's the savior because he actually took responsibility. It's not a savior is what I'm trying to get to. It's that some white people actually take responsibility for the wrongs of other white people.
I'm sorry, I was out of jail and
He does have like a speech impediment for real though. And but you have to take responsibility for it, and that's really what it is. It's not a savior thing. I mean, I think the movies are set up to look like a savior thing, but in the reality is, I think it's a white person actually standing up against another white person for their wrongs, feeling that it is a reflection on white people.
Well, whether it was Tom Brokaw or the white female teacher that he felt got emotional over, because from an educational standpoint, she stayed on his ass and made sure he did what he had to do.
Now that's a little bit more of a white savior, because she's calling the mom, she's doing everything.
Okay, so again, I want to be clear here. When I go love-hate relationship with white people, you have to understand that as a black man, when I see another black dude like Allen Iverson get railroaded like that, when you know that there's racist agendas behind it, how can I not be upset?
Okay.
But at the same time, because of the Tom Brokaw and the white female teacher, there's where the love is.
Okay, but see, in this thing again, though, when a black man fucks you over, do you find him to be the same way that you look at as a white man when it fucks you over?
It's sad.
It's sad. But it's human. I hate to say that it's human nature. Humans fuck people over. It's the reasons why they fuck someone over that white people are in this.
But, my brother's keeper in terms of black love, brotherly love, brother. We ain't supposed to be doing that.
But humans fuck each other over. But it's also the reasons why. Are you fucking someone over to get over so that you can succeed? Right. Which isn't a way to say that's okay. I'm saying, but that's an even way to fuck someone over. Right. Are you doing it because you don't like the uniform that the other person's wearing?
Right.
That's a different story.
Well, you know what? And it's funny. Allen Iverson says in this, his grandmother. God, I wish I should have wrote this down because I don't want to fuck this up, but I think I remember it. He was also extremely close to his grandmother, and his grandmother and Allen Iverson, are very religious, faithful. God is a big deal, and he said,
why does God make him go through this?
And his grandmother said, don't ever question God. And he goes, after that, I never question God again. And several times Allen says in this, my God is good. You talk about somebody's journey where it looks like it's one way in terms of this is up and bad, but then it comes full circle and everything is okay. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, He didn't really have a father figure. The system him in that way when he was a kid. Tom Brokaw came and, was part of the reason he got out of jail. But then the real blessing comes in the father-like black figure in John Thompson. Where the mother goes, he goes, all the what do they call it when
All the recruiters
all the
went away.
recruiters went away because of the incident. And his mother tried everything, talked to everybody. She kept getting the door slammed in her face. So eventually she finally goes to John Thompson in Georgetown and basically says, will you take my son under the wing? Will you help him? And then she started getting emotional and crying. And John Thompson basically says, he goes, I didn't take him under the wing because she came down to try to get me to recruit him. It's because of the things she said about where she was in life. And she was just basically saying to him, save my son. Please save my son. Don't let him die in jail. Don't let him if he's gonna die or be a part of the streets, it's over for him. Save my son. And that's what moved him, and that's why he did it. And to me, what I like about that is, I said this before, you often hear this father-like comparison where these black athletes go to their coaches, man, they just want to coach. It's like a father figure. And I always call a little bit of, because while that seems sweet, I go, listen, if you didn't have the talent you have, they wouldn't give a fuck about you. So yeah, they'll take on a father-like role, but your talent is, don't lose sight of what this is about. They don't really give a fuck about you. And the fact that John Thompson, a black man, was approached by this black woman who's saying, save my black son. And as a black man, you know the deal. You know the streets. You know the railroads, how you get in the justice system. He went, I'm going to take on this responsibility as a black man to a younger black man, like a father would protect his young black son. And that's what moved him. Not the crossover, not the athleticism. And I mean, yeah, ultimately he got that, which benefits John Thompson in Georgetown. But that to me spoke to me.
I think that what you're missing, though, when they say it's father figure, is that these coaches do have a fatherly influence in people. They do look at their kids as kids. They know that their job is to take them up and bring up their talent, bring up but they know that they're getting kids and they're making them.
But if he
young
couldn't
men.
get you 30 points, would you care? Would you really care?
It depends what he brings to the family. And they look at their team as a family. If he's bringing some stability and Phil Jackson wasn't a college coach. He was, an NBA coach. But the way that you bring someone in so that Dennis Rodman has someone to bounce off of and talk to and have them, even if he isn't contributing big points on the floor.
Phil didn't just see me as a basketball player. He's always a friend.
That's part of the routine that they know how to move men. It's coaches, it's leaders, man. I think there is something to when they say that there's a father figure, because especially if you don't have that father figure and you have a guy that's really coaching you, what is a father's job? It is to coach you in life, to get you ready for these things. Right. And I think that's the connection that they see. And I think that I think you're looking at it the side is what they get out of you, and that's why you're there. But I also think that that's what the experience of being a coach is, to coach people up, to get them ready. Not only the game is part of life, and to coach people to do well in the game, you have to coach them through life. And I think that's what they're getting.
Okay. Is Allen Iverson one of the best to never win a championship?
Yeah, when I watch this, I think we always give that the champ who never won one, I think always kind of goes to Barkley a little bit, because he's probably the most famous one on TV.
We all know that in basketball, you need that 1-2 punch. You need that tandem. And when you think about guys like Dominique Wilkins, awesome player, didn't have a crew around him. Barkley, who was his 1-2? He was the best on the Suns. He never really had that, like Michael had Scottie, Magic had Kareem, Dwayne Wade had LeBron, Clay had Steph. Dominique didn't have nobody. AI didn't have nobody. Barkley didn't have nobody.
He had Kevin Johnson. He had Dan Marley.
They're not Scottie Pippen.
No, they're not. But he had. You don't think Mutombo was worthwhile to mention as like the big man in the middle?
Listen, I'm gonna put it to you like this: when you think about some of the greatest players to never win in the Michael Jordan era, yeah, Barkley, Malone, Ewing, Reggie Miller, because it was the Jordan era. Allen Iverson fell victim to the Kobe Shaq era. You know, wasn't nobody winning when Shaq and Kobe were together. That window, if it wasn't for them two, if Kobe's not on the Lakers and it's just Shaq with everybody else, I think maybe the Sixers beat them. But there's no way they were gonna win with Kobe and Shaq. And I love and later in this, I think it's part 3, when prior to the game 1 of the finals between the Sixers and the Lakers had swept everybody. Not swept everybody, but they were undefeated.
Undefeated in the playoffs.
Undefeated. And then they lose that first game, and then Shaq goes, yeah, that was a wake-up call. And from there, we had to get focused. And once we got focused, it was over.
Well,
They lost one game that whole playoff run. And when they show those clips of Shaq, I mean, this is a Mack truck. Speed, power, and size. So when you bring up Mutombo, nah.
they almost won game 2 though.
But they didn't.
No, they didn't, and it was a game-winning shot at the end. But the point is, Iverson was doing that stuff pretty much on his own.
Yeah.
But I also have a problem because as great as the coaches that Larry Brown is, this is the difference. Okay, I don't know. People agree, disagree. I think Larry Brown's a great coach. I think he's a better college coach.
He won the championship against the Super Lakers when it was Karl Malone, Gary Payton, Shaq, and Kobe. He won with the Detroit Pistons when it was Rasheed Wallace, Ben Wallace,
Had a team.
Tayshaun Prince,
Had a team.
Chauncey Billups, and Rip Hamilton.
Had a team. Now, I'm not going to say that Brown was making the decisions. The general manager was making the decisions. But they built the team around the idea that we're going to let Iverson be 100% of the engine, and these guys are just going to be tires.
Yeah.
You can't win like that.
Yeah, no, not when you got Kobe and Shaq was such a juggernaut.
Because he's going to wear you down, and they're going to wear you down in 7 games no matter what. And number 2, when he says, like, they won the first game, and they were depleted. They didn't have the full team. There was injuries. I do like how Brown was saying we need all the fouls on Shaq. We got to foul him. We have to, and we don't have the people to foul him even. But when I love the respect that Shaq has for AI though.
Yeah.
Because he goes, we knew he was going to score 30. We didn't know he was going to score. What did he score?
48.
Yeah.
Right.
We didn't know he was going to score 48. So
But you can't win with just that.
that one person scoring 48. And then let me go back now. When Jordan loved playing basketball, and he was that engine. Everybody else was tires. And then they got the coach left. What was the coach that he had before Phil Jackson?
Oh, Doug Collins.
And Doug Collins is a great coach, but he was letting Jordan do that. Same thing that Larry Brown was doing for Iverson. And that's when Phil came and said, you can't win this way. You need less points. You need to make the people around you.
I think the difference still is, yes, you had the other people around you, but you still had Scottie Pippen.
Well, he didn't have it at the beginning. Scottie didn't get there until I'm saying Jordan didn't have Scottie at the beginning. He had to play 100% of the time.
No, but Scottie was there during the Doug Collins years.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Phil incorporating, you got to get these
Yeah,
other guys,
the guys involved.
So when you get those other guys involved,
To step up.
we're talking about Scottie Pippen,
But-
who's a beast.
But how do we know?
Let's not sleep on Horace Grant.
No, not at all.
So you got 3 pieces right there. And then you can kick out to John Paxson. Now, that 76ers team,
Didn't have that.
other than AI, Mutombo against Shaq is like a huge Italian hero bread against a pretzel stick.
Listen, man, I'm not going to say you can't compare Shaq to really anybody else. There's no one that's been his size.
But who else on that Sixers team was notable? Aaron McKee, Eric Snow.
Eric Snow was a really good player, though. No one had
The Lakers had a bench.
No one and Philly did not have a bench.
At all.
So no, that's all. Everything you're saying is correct, but you have to build for that. They didn't build for it. Larry Brown was working with I think a little handicapped on what he was given.
Yeah.
The Philly needed more. They needed another player. Also, when you pull this all together, I want to say this about Shaq. And when you say, because I know Shaq's your favorite center, but there's no one else that ever had a body like Shaq's.
No.
From the ankles all the way up to his
Girth.
foot.
He was a girthy
and proportion though. That's the thing
with
about
speed and power.
a lot of these guys. Well, that's because he started off as a guard. He grew into being who he was. But when these guys come in, they might have a big upper body but skinny legs. When you're 7 foot, you don't develop on every piece of you the same way. Shaq was the only one that I can think of that's proportioned as a big man from the toes all the way to the top of his head.
Right.
He's that guy.
Picture Shaq posting up Wembanyama. I think he would break that man. Wembanyama is built like a praying mantis.
He would just have to stand a little bit further out, and he's going to shoot over the top of Shaq because he is taller. But it's not. But it's not. He can't go inside. Shaq will destroy you inside.
I saw, talking about this series between the Sixers and the Lakers. I remember when I saw a clip where Shaq was talking about after that first game when the Sixers beat them, Mutombo was talking and Shaq. Matter of fact, we saw it on the Shaq documentary. And Shaq went, I was eating breakfast the next day. He said something about me. I said, okay, I'm going to kill this. And annihilate him. Elbows to the mouth on the post spins. Oh, Jesus.
But outside of Shaq at that time, Mutombo was a serious player, man.
Mutombo was more known for the blocks and the finger wave.
But he didn't have
offensively. No.
But that was AI's job. Again,
you need that one too, man.
No, but that's what I'm saying. That wasn't ever given to him. And I think that the idea, that's what I didn't like about Brown when he was coaching there, that it wasn't ever going to work.
Yeah.
If you ran across someone like the Lakers, you weren't going to get back. What other team was out there at that time? That was
they beat the Toronto Raptors with Vince Carter to go to the finals.
But who? Well, Vince, they had a team.
But who again was the 1-2 on that team?
It was Vince Carter.
Yeah. See, kids, this was before super teams, when most teams only have really one major star. They didn't form like the Avengers.
It was more like Batman and Robin.
Yeah. Now every team is the Justice League. Ta-da.
Yeah, his girl. I also like, when you're talking about heart and
I didn't know
about the
this.
neighborhood.
I was so glad to see they got back together.
Yeah.
I was so glad to see that, man. Because when he was like, and I didn't know, again, you don't know this until you watch these documentaries. I didn't know that Allen Iverson had a drinking problem and a gambling problem. And he admitted that, when his shit got out of control and he kept doing what he was doing, his wife left him. But I'm glad they got back together because he was like, they've been basically like high school sweethearts. And he confesses how much love he had for her. And when you see how emotional he gets and how important family is to him and friends and how important she was, it's one of those things where it's like she's the battery in his back.
It's his heart, man. Everything about him. Once he's committed, that dude doesn't uncommit. Like leaving Philadelphia was the hardest thing for him. When he came back to Philly, his breakdown.
Right.
Coming back was like coming home.
Right.
He is. It's not I don't think it's the healthiest thing for someone to be that committed like that. I really don't. I mean, there's some to feel like you had to be there, to leave and go play somewhere else and never feel satisfied because you didn't give that team that you were committed. That's I don't know.
Well,
if it's healthy.
Listen, when certain players, and he even said it, I became a journeyman. When certain players become journeymen, it's like, okay, unless they really win a championship on this new journey, the first team they're with, especially if they put in real time,
Yeah.
you always going to be associated with that team. So AI and Philly had a relationship. Now, granted, this is what blows my mind. So he played with Denver, he played with Memphis, he played with Detroit, and then he eventually goes back to Philly. Yo, that Denver roster, Carmelo Anthony, Allen Iverson, J.R. Smith, Marcus Camby, Keon Martin, how they don't win a championship? And that was still Carmelo prime. How does that roster not win?
Well, who's the coach?
George, the He was the coach of the Seattle
yeah, I know which
Sonics.
George Karl.
George Karl. As we struggling to ask who the coach is, the nigga with the computer over there
Looking at
looking at shit. No, we got it already, nigga.
George Karl, but George was a good coach. Whatever reason, he couldn't find the mechanics to make that.
That's
engine fire.
crazy. When you got an offensive, and see, that's what I'm talking about. You talk about 1-2 punch. Carmelo Anthony was an offensive juggernaut, as was AI.
So maybe they couldn't work well together though. Because
That's amazing.
I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just saying who knows what
to
it
be.
is. Who knows what it is though.
That's crazy.
This is basketball. This is where that team chemistry. Listen, I'm Phoenix Suns fan here.
Listen,
That they had all the people to do it. They didn't have enough.
which
on the
Suns?
bench.
Which Suns are you talking about? The Barkley years, or you talking about later?
Right now, they just left.
Oh.
Everybody thought that they were going to do that. That was the team that had to be beat, and they beat
Well,
themselves
listen,
for 3
when
years.
you got Kevin Garnett and Devin Booker, that's a 1-2 punch.
Yeah, but what happened?
Exactly.
It's a chemistry thing too, and I think that's what Brown was trying to do: find a place that AI could just run rampant and have that defense and the assist in there. Like you said, you need that other guy. You can't. But the way though that and this is the other thing that he doesn't get enough credit for. He goes in as a point guard, and then Brown. I do give Brown credit for this. Goes well if you're running it, if you're the one that's going to get all these points, fucking give up the let some other people do some work. You just become the shooting guard.
Right.
That was I thought a genius move, but it took away though too because his passes were incredible.
He put the move on my man, didn't he?
Yeah. But who won that game?
Exactly.
It's tough though because when everybody talks about it, even Jordan doesn't have a lot of. I'm not saying that he doesn't have a lot of respect, but there's not a lot of sound of respect in his voice when he talks about others. Jordan.
Oh, but he loved AI.
He did.
Because he tells the story, or AI tells the story, where he goes, and when you see these clips of AI talking about Mike, he's like me, he's just in awe. He's in awe. And at one point, he tells two stories. He goes, one time, he goes, yeah, I see Mike, and he had like this glow around him, and I was just in awe of him. And he goes, my man hit me, and he, his name, and this is Bubba Chuck, his nickname. He said, Bubba Chuck, stop that shit. You that too. Like his boy had to remind him, like, yo, Mike is Mike, but Bubba Chuck, you that too. Close your mouth.
Dude, but it was the respect for what Jordan did. But I'll just tell you this, and this is what I wish. I guess I'm saying this to even NBA players right now. Watch the video on AI. I always would think that he was carrying the ball. And I know he got called for carrying sometimes.
Right.
But if you really watch that, those shoulder moves, that's
Yeah.
all shoulder. And he is not carrying the ball.
I don't think they do it anymore, but I swear to God, I wish they would do it. One of my favorite shows was Open Court on NBA TV, and Isaiah was breaking down different people's crossovers, and he talked about Tim Hardaway's crossover, some of the dudes that had the most lethal crossovers, and when he was talking about AI, he was like, AI does this thing, which what you're talking about, where he'll grab it, and he'll leave it out there, and it'd be high, and then he something with his shoulders before he bring it over.
And his shoulder, you bought the shoulder fake, the
Right.
ball out, and he would even be moving his leg, but he wouldn't be lifting his pivot foot. So you are moving,
Right.
and then he leaves you because you bought the fake. But he's not traveling. The guys today, I'm sorry, guys. I love the NBA. I really do.
Who you think, real quick, who you think got better handles, him or Kyrie Irving?
Kyrie's looks a little bit better because he's taller. So when he leaves it out, like Kyrie can move the ball differently. I think Kyrie's looks outstanding, but no. His shoulder, I don't think anybody does it better than he does. Like you said, and he's small too, so it doesn't look as dramatic. You know what I mean? But when he does it and he gives you this thing and he's keeping his leg and he's not, or when he does that thing when he's crossing you over while he's still bouncing and he'll do the move while he's in the air. So he's still not traveling. And you think that he's going one way, and I don't know how I watched some of those. I rewound that thing about 20 times to watch some of those.
Well, he said, Jordan said, well, you know, he's obviously lower to the ground than me.
Yeah.
But he goes, Allen Iverson goes, yeah, I saw Jordan. I told him how much I love him. And Michael goes, well, you don't really love me that much. Otherwise, you wouldn't cross me up like that. So, dude, let me tell you something. I've seen those clips where AI will cross somebody over. And when they say the term breaking your ankles, dudes literally fall down in embarrassment. It's embarrassing. So I got a two-part question for you. What do you think is more embarrassing, and what would you rather possess the ability to do? Cross somebody up to where you break their ankles and they fall, or posterize a motherfucker on a dunk?
Well, okay, here's this. I don't know how to answer this because I love basketball, so I love the whole experience.
Right.
You get posterized on the dunk, that's living in infamy. That is like you see the ball going through and they put it on the highlights and you see the face. And if you get it where the ball hits the dude in the face, you won. There's no getting around that. That is like the ultimate move of basketball disrespect. But then you do the crossover and you get someone to break their ankles. This is the problem with that. You still have to make that shot.
So if they break your ankles, shoot it and miss.
What difference did it make? You just made someone look goofy, but you didn't do anything with it.
There's a lot of ooh and ah on that ankle break, though.
There is, but then if you shoot the ball and it doesn't go in, it's like, okay, that ooh and ah is over.
That's the cherry on top, but there's still a lot of cake.
Dude, I swear to God, if I broke someone's ankles like that and they fell in front of me, I would just pass the ball to someone underneath because I wouldn't want that. That's and the pressure of making a shot with no one on you is harder. Because when you have someone in your face, the shot is like, okay, this is what I do. Shoot. When no one's in front of you, it's just you. You don't have anything. It's just you. And I think it's almost tougher to make that shot. Iverson made the shots after he broke someone's legs.
Yeah.
And he didn't break someone's ankle. He broke their legs.
Yeah. See, dude, this is why when you go, I love basketball, I do too. I just wish I could play them because it's the ultimate platform to talk. And I'm great at talking, but my basketball skills are horrific.
But I could not cross people over like that because I'd carry the ball. Honestly, I could not get that. That's a skill level that I was never able to manage. And plus, I got to be honest, I'm not that good. I mean, I could play, but when I watch these guys now and they're doing like I didn't have, both hands didn't work equally as well. These guys are going out there, the way they bounce, the way they're dribbling, at like full speed. Like I can dribble with my left hand, but not like that.
Right.
And not like shoot, like these guys shoot right and left-handed now. Like it's no big deal. Like that's what's nice about the young players, that they grow up and they grow up with those balls in their hand. And not, the coach doesn't let you play with one hand. You don't go right. Look at today's players. There's no one who just goes right. He's going to go right. No,
right.
He might like his right hand side, but he can go left easily.
You know, I became a fan too late, and Lord knows by the time I even tried to play, it was just the window was shut, closed, boarded up, and the house was torn down. But again, I grew up that TV, man. That TV was my basketball. Watching TV. So, but because to me it feels like if you're gonna be that good, that skillful, you gotta start young. You gotta start as a kid. You gotta be in the playground with the other kids and doing it. It never interested me.
Even when you were like, you would go to like PE or whatever in elementary school, you guys didn't play basketball?
I played more baseball or football.
I played baseball. We didn't really play football that much. I played Pee-wee football for a while, but at the school, it was basketball because the basketball courts were there. So you either played basketball.
I went and watched. I either
baseball.
watched or I tried to make people laugh as they played.
Dude, I was terrible, man. Because when I was little, I was really small. I was born in September. You had to be 5 years old by the end of August, and I was born in September. So I had just turned 5. I couldn't even get the ball to the rim, dude. I loved it though. I loved watching it, and I loved watching it on TV. So I was doing everything underhanded, just to even get the ball to the rim.
Right.
And it took me all my all through kindergarten and first grade before I could actually like play shoot the ball to hit the rim.
And then when I was a kid, if I did try and play, the moment I started going this,
You didn't run track or anything?
no,
Dude. I did.
I was the most non-athletic in the world, dude. I was all about being silly, man, and funny and TV and movies and clowning around.
Well, because see, that's the difference. Though I think you knew. We've talked about this. You knew this is what you wanted to do. You wanted to be famous. You wanted to be famous from a young age, right?
Yeah, but yeah.
I didn't. Like I'm telling you, growing up in Tucson, and like I said, we had a comedy club there. The reason I didn't think you did comedy is because no one who lived there wasn't like an open mic scene that I knew about. It was just there was one open mic, and it was at that comedy club. But it was usually the college people that came in from other cities, and all the people that were on stage were from somewhere else. You know, it wasn't something you did from there.
Let me tell you something. When I say I am cut from my daddy's cloth, I am telling you, my father was all about food, funny, and I'm telling you, he loved to eat, he loved to, and he loved laughing. I didn't have it. And that's another thing. It helps when you come from that bloodline. Your father was an athlete. He played. It's like genetics. It's passed down to you. It's in your DNA. My dad was not about a sportsy guy. He loved to watch boxing. That was his sport.
My stepdad loved boxing and he loved football. And then I ended up hating football not for a long time because he was just so into we never would go on like family vacations because he had a job on base. He worked at the commissary on base. And he would always use his vacation time to call in sick so he could stay home and watch a good football game. Like if there was a good football game on and he was supposed to go to work, he would say, I'm going to take some of my time and I'm not feeling good today. And he would use up all that time so he could watch football. So I hated football when I was growing up. My biological father, my dad, he was a baseball dude. He played a lot of baseball. And he was pretty good. And he played tennis. But no one played. I was the only one that loved basketball. And it was because you could play by yourself. And I had to play that's what I would do. I'd go to the school and I'd shoot around. I finally got a hoop in my house. My mom got me. Dude, we got that piece of wood, a big piece of plywood, and the neighbor was a construction worker, so he put the plywood up, mounted it, and then mounted a rim on the piece of wood. So I shot off of a piece of wood. It wasn't like a backboard.
Yeah, my father was the 3 Fs: food, funny.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, but as a dude, you go, that's the ultimate man sports, and I'm not that, and I'm a dude. I'm supposed to be about that. I'm supposed to be able to go out there and do gladiator.
Really?
But is it not?
Not really. The gladiators are doing it. The rest of the people sit in the stands. You just
but you know how some guys live vicariously through athletes, so much so that they want to fight other people in the stands.
Yeah, but you just figured out a way that you found a stage. You wanted to be on stage, and you weren't going to do it in football. You tried boxing, and you said, that was just too. It was too much work. You had to eat right,
work out, train.
That wasn't part of your agenda. So you found another way to get on stage. That was your goal. You mastered your goal. I don't know. Dude, I think sports is one of the weirdest careers because it is such you do it before you, I hate to say it this way because this is going to sound up to some people, but you do it before you discover who you are as a man.
Well, you also become a man as you're doing it.
As you're doing it, but you really, I don't think how old were you? Like, I know that you feel like you've been a man for a long time, but really when you came in touch with yourself in a way that you really understood you.
The first time I masturbated?
No, understood yourself.
That's
yeah, no, but as a person, it was like, you know what? I did this wrong. I could do this better. You start seeing yourself not for what you do, but for what your weaknesses are, and try to improve on that. Usually that comes a little later. That comes after you're in your 30s.
Yeah.
And a career is over as you're in your mid-30s or ending in your mid-30s. Most people don't make it till 40 in sports.
Right.
And that's what I think is weird about it. You haven't even you're retired or you're contemplating retirement before you actually became your adult self.
Yeah.
That's a weird thing when you think
Now, that's
about
the thing
it.
I don't like, because to me, it's like, yeah, when it's over, what the do you do with the rest of your still young life?
There's guys that just end up being real estate. There's nothing wrong with being a real estate guy, but you're here. You're on stage. The accolades, the people coming at you, the fame, and now you're selling cars.
Well, listen.
You own the
it's-
dealership, but you're still selling cars.
Well, it's great if you're doing that by choice.
Yeah.
Because, listen, if you're that guy, if you're an Allen Iverson or Michael J, if you're a superstar and you do it right and you're not foolish with your funds, then yeah, it sucks to be retired at a young age, but at least you don't have to do nothing else.
No.
Like for money. You know what I mean?
And there's opportunities. I know guys that are retired from sports and they have different multiple businesses. They invest well. They own different things and they enjoy their life. They're having a good time with it. I'm not saying that's not possible, but when you're out, unless you were so famous that people still recognize you, a little bit of that I think has to feel weird, doesn't it? Because
Oh yeah. Yeah. Dude, listen, you and I go when we get a week off and we come back, we're like, remember how to you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? You know what I'm saying? So imagine years and years and years.
and but you know what they say is missed most isn't the fame, isn't the money. It's the camaraderie that you had with other guys that they were not just your teammates, they're the people you went to battle with.
Your brothers, your family.
I think it's true though, because that's what you're gonna when you're at home and you're in your basement, your wife's upstairs with the kids making dinner, and you're just trying to be quiet down there so no one bugs you, so you can have a few minutes of peace. You miss your dudes, man. You miss the people that you ran with, the people, you know.
You know, it's a different stage. I like how you put that. It's a different stage, but it's a stage. So I relate to that in the sense that, listen, when I was on Mad, some of the most fun times was just us goofing off in between, takes and even during takes, going, okay, how do I step my game up based off what you just did? So yeah, I understand the camaraderie part. Yeah.
No, it's even like when we're on the road together, dude. And I know, like, you never had someone that you just ran with all the time. And it's kind of why I feel even a little bit bummed out, because I don't go out as much as I used to, barely at all. And I remember, like, we'll be on the road sometimes and you go, like, I never had this. Like, I didn't have that fraternity. I didn't have that one other, the other person that was doing this with me, digging in and, like, having to deal with the same things that you had to deal with. So I understand it. But yeah, I think sports is definitely different. And then let's get back to Iverson on this. He was dedicated to everyone that was in his team, and in his camp, from the girl that he met in high school that he's with to today,
Right.
to the guys that he would still be with if they weren't taken away.
Well, it was one dude.
Yeah,
Not to lessen the blow, but I'm just saying.
but that was his dude.
Yeah.
And that changed. I think that changed his life right there. That was the biggest change that you see when you watch this documentary, dude. To wear your heart on your sleeve like that. And I wanted to say this because where things get f***ed up is in business. Allen Iverson was just reflecting the moment of what was happening in America. And hip hop the culture was taking over.
Yeah.
And David Stern wasn't aware of that at the time. David Stern didn't look like he knew what hip or hop was. He was just David Stern.
Right.
He was the guy that had the porno mustache when he took over.
Yeah.
And they were always they were trying to control and any business does try to control the look and the vibe of what they have going out there. And I think they were overly try to over control that, and that made him have to be more aggressive towards who he was going to be. I'm not saying more aggressive, but he had to put him out there more. Yeah. He couldn't fold. He had to. And I think it's the greatest thing because it did change the way the NBA looks and the NBA feels. And it didn't change it. The white guys have the same, like white basketball players have that also. Not every one of them, but they have that same vibe. It's a cool sport.
Right. Yeah, we've seen the evolution of the dress code from suits to street to whatever this fashion gay Paris is now.
Well,
some of these, when they walk in the tunnel, it's like, what the are you wearing?
You don't always have to have all your personality out there.
Right.
Sometimes you may want to save a little of that just for yourself because not everybody has to. Listen, we're working here right now in where are we?
Oxnard.
Oxnard, and like one of the managers, cool dude. I have no problem with him, whatever.
Oh, this.
But he has stiletto nails painted black. Big dude too, not a small dude. He's like 6 something. He has to weigh well over 300 pounds, probably close to 4. Not because he's this fat guy. He's just a tall dude. And there he is with like 3-inch stiletto black painted nails. Oh, and sometimes I want to go, man, you don't have to tell you don't have to just tell everything about yourself. I don't need to. I'm coming here for a comedy show. You're a manager at a comedy. I need to know about your stiletto nails. You got to give everybody everything about you.
It's a raining man.
If that's your look, I guess that's your look. I put it out there, but I mean, it's still a business. I mean, you're going to shake people's hands, and you got the. It's just a lot. And maybe I'm old. I guess.
Nah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah, man.
I think it's a lot.
All right, check it out. It's called Iverson. Is it just called Iverson?
I think that's what. Here, I'll look it up real quick because I was about ready to open up the other thing. It was here.
It's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, it's 3 episodes. They're only like an hour a piece, so it's not like a forever watch. Why isn't it up there? It should have been right there. Iverson. Yep.
Again, we got to with a computer biting his nails.
I thought you guys were.
Anytime you see us struggle, throw in the life preserver.
I'm trying to figure out this data transfer. Let me see.
Yeah. Mark's gonna come up with it. I'm gonna look at our dates. I'm gonna make Mark give out the dates pretty soon too. Here we go. Did you find it? It's on Prime.
It is called Allen Iverson.
Oh, both names.
Let's go. Okay, so there it is. Allen Iverson on Amazon Prime. Check it out, people. It really is good. And if you're a basketball fan and an AI fan, then there's no reason why you won't be happy about this.
Are you more of a fan, the same, or less of a fan after watching
More.
this? Me too.
More.
He doesn't get enough credit.
Yeah.
And I do think that he, when we always name the point guards, I don't think of him as point guard. I remember
Two
him
guard.
as 2 guard, but he was a point.
Yeah.
And when I say some of the people that, I don't have this big long list of the greatest point guards, I would definitely put him in that.
Yeah.
Because if you needed someone to get you 2 points to win the game, Michael.
If you need somebody to break down a defense.
Well, if you need 2 points at the end of the game, you
Yeah.
need someone to break down the defense.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind having him on my team. All right. This is coming out. Listen, I don't even know where we are, if this is on the right time. So let's just do it. December 5th, Flag Star at the Westbury Music Fair. It's one night only. I think it's almost sold out. If you hear this and it's before the December 5th, get tickets because it's not going to be tickets. December 6th, we're going to be at Veterans Memorial Auditorium in Providence, Rhode Island. December 12th to the 14th, we're at the Funny Bone in Orlando, Florida. One of my comic book guys is going to come out to the show. Oh, yeah? Yeah. Cool dude from out there. Let me see. He's Kingpin Comics. Let's see. Veterans Memorial, Orlando. December 18th to the 20th, the Cobb's Comedy Club out in San Francisco. December 26th to the 28th, the Improv in Arlington, Texas. And December 31st, you haven't told me what this is happening for the Bahamas. We're in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
Do you know where?
We're in the Bahamas?
Yeah.
Oh, I got to find out.
Just go to the Bahamas.
Get the flight to the Bahamas.
Go to the Bahamas and just go, hey, where's Ari Spears at? And that's where we're going to be.
I wish I could do a Bahamian accent, man. I always just end up doing a poor Jamaican,
How different is it?
I don't know. The Bahamian. I don't know, nigga. Guessing like a.
We're going to have one for you guys next time. That's the show, man. Are you good? Are you
I'm
good?
good. I'm
Are you good, Mark?
Yeah.
Did you learn how to do the data transfer? Because you didn't do shit for this podcast.
I was letting you guys roll. Well, you guys doing great.
Yeah. Otto, say goodnight.
Spears and Steinberg.
Thanks for listening to the Spears and Steinberg podcast. For more information on where to find us on the internet, visit spearsburgpod.com.